Hello, this is Shauna, Soy Milk Muse, and we are back for day 30 of December 2025. And I just realized something this morning. When I printed the prompt list, I didn't have all the information at the bottom here, where it has the handles for Barbara and for Louisa, and the hashtags. So there's those. I realized when I printed it, because it's originally A4 rather than US letter, and my computer and my printer work with US letter size, that it cut this part off because I had my printing program set to borderless, and so it fit the image to the print area, and it cuts off a bit. So I printed it regular, which gave it a border on the sides, but it has all the information at the bottom here. So if you're having issues with printables between A4 and US letter, sometimes you just have to unclick that, fit to screen, or click the fit to screen, or fit to frame, and sometimes that'll solve your problems. So anyway, today we're doing altered tag and torn wallpaper, and I will link Barbara and Louisa's channels below. They are our hosts for December, and they work so hard on all of this, and I'm so thankful for them. Much appreciate all the work they put in. So for my thought for altered tag and torn wallpaper, excuse me, is once again I have these tags that I have hundreds of that I thrifted, but they're, kind of a little bit flimsy. So what could I do to use up some of these that I have already in my stash? And for what I'm doing here, you could definitely cut your own tags out of cardstock or whatever, heavier scrapbook paper, whatever you have. I took 2 of them and I hinged them, so it's like a tag booklet, kind of, with writing space inside. And then this one I thought I will glue down. So it still opens, but I didn't worry about, finishing the back. This is the paper that's hinging to the front. And then I added a ribbon closure, and then there's writing space on the inside. So the wallpaper, torn wallpaper, I actually don't have any wallpaper in my stash, I don't think. I thought I had picked up a wallpaper sample book at the thrift store, but I think I might have passed on it because I can't find it anywhere. I do that a lot. I look at things and I'm like, oh, I don't really need that. And then in my head, like, I bought it, but I didn't. So I decided to find printables, or you could use magazine pages or book pages or anything else you have in your stash, but ones that to me looked like they could be wallpaper. And I used one piece behind, and then usually something with a focal point, and then the second piece I laid on top. I just cut to the size of the tag, minus the top, and then in different ways I tore them. And I actually like this effect a little better than this one. This one I kind of cut it and then ripped it, and I mean, it's okay. It does look like peeling wallpaper, kind of. But I kind of like this a little bit better. So let's make one. And so we need 2 tags, and we need to choose our images. So I printed up a bunch of papers here. These I'm using in the Forest Fairy book. And they are from Lenart Studio on Etsy. And then this is just some copy paper. And then these ones that I was using, the purple, for the purple journal, these are all Shabby Dabby Doodah, also on Etsy. Excuse me. And I think, whoops, separate this one out. These ones, both of these papers, I believe, were from her Mulberry Garden, I believe it's called, printables. And then these ones are both from the Rich Damask collection. And I thought I had printed 3. Oh, no, I printed this one. So just 2 of the Rich Damask that I printed out. There's a whole lot of different papers, though, in her Rich Damask collection. And I just love Damask. I think it's so pretty, so romantic. Calls back to yesteryear, you know. So let's do a purple one, I think. This is just paper out of another journal, like a store-bought journal. And that's what I lined the inside of this purple tag with. Set these aside. And we can decide about our inner part later. But I like these birdies a lot. Kind of have a bird thing going on with the purple journal. I pull it in. So it's a fabric covered, it's hand dyed. Sorry, there's a little desk something on there. This purple is hand dyed. This is store-bought quilting fabric. It was one that I used when I was making masks. My daughter chose it for herself. And so you can see like where I cut the mask out. There was 2 layers of fabric, and you know. But it looked like a tree when I was trying to collage a cover, and I was like, that just looks too much like a tree. So I played it up. I did some stenciling here. And then, yeah, so it's pretty fun. But let's do the bird. Back on track here. Got more than one. Okay, so then I decide where basically I want the tag, and this one I did this side. So for this one I want to do this one actually. And just kind of peeking there where it's gonna land. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of fold around so I basically know where I'm wanting to cut. The other one I actually wrapped, which I could do again, actually. Get a good crease on here. And then this can be our hinge. So I'm not going to cut this part off. Okay. You'll see it a little bit better from this side. I believe there's only one day left after today, if I remember. The month has just blown by. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue this right to that line there. And I'm using Fabrifix acetone-based clear silicone glue. The bottle I put it in is just a Sugar Bells icing piping bottle. I like it because it's easier to squeeze and it has the finer tip on it. Okay. Let's get that out of my way for a second here. Pardon me. Had a frog in my throat all day. We've had a lot of wind here, and I think that it kind of, it kicks up the, you know, the pollen and mold and stuff in the air. I definitely don't have allergies like I used to. When I was a kid, I had hay fever super bad. And then sometime in my 20s, it just kind of, you know, got almost gone, really. And now it's just occasionally that I have sneezy or itchy eyes or whatever. Usually just in the spring, but I have noticed if it's really windy that sometimes will save those scraps. Kick up that pollen. Okay. Somewhere. I'm gonna go ahead and cut around this one instead of wrapping it this time. On the other side it worked better because I had enough to wrap the whole, both sides of the tag, you know? There we go. And then we'll trim that edge after we get the other side glued on. So let's take our other tag. And we're gonna leave a little bit of space so that it can fold easily. Actually, let's just line them up like this and then glue this part on. I'm gonna glue on this edge here, and then this top. Maybe just a little bit over here. Make sure I got everything, and then go down that join seam a little bit just to kind of reinforce that paper with the glue. Okay. So at this point I could either cover the whole back with something else, collage a bit over here, or I could choose to do it like I did this one where I'm going to end up gluing it to a page. I could even glue it as a pocket or a tuck. Get that extra glue out of there. Okay. Boop. Still ended up with glue up there because I put it in the wrong spot. That's okay. Not a big deal. Okay. Baby wipe. Get some of that glue off of there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and punch these holes so that I can see them from the other side. So when I cover the inner part, the holes won't be lost to me. Oops. There we go. A little bit of extra on top here. And then come in here. Oh, could have folded it this way, couldn't I? There we go. That's better. Why didn't I think of that before? Make my life easier. Okay. Now, I can still use this one. I might bring it all the way to the top this time. So let's put our glue on the tags and then pop it down on here. Probably should have inked this first. The Fabrifix is kind of a resist to the Distress inks, but I could use gilding wax. That will stick to it. Maybe I'll do that. I'll go around the edge with gilding wax this time. Okay, let's, woohoo! I stuck my finger right in the glue. Bit much there. Okay, I'm gonna try to line this up as best I can. Maybe with the top of the page actually. Get a little bit of that header on there. And then maybe our lines will be somewhat straight. This dries pretty fast. Okay. Let's trim that around. Enough. It's an ever so slight curve to the bottom of these tags. Let's give it its fold there. And use our new trick for folding it the opposite way. Okay, another scrap. And then we just need to come down this side and we can do the front part that's fun. There we go. Now we have the inside. And what did I do with that? Hole punch. Let's go ahead and repunch these holes again so we don't forget. We could actually... Nah. I was thinking about leaving the one in the back if I was going to glue it down, but I would rather punch it, I think. Somebody might put their pen or pencil through it. Okay. So then on the front, we need to choose our wallpaper. And last time I used this one, which I think looks really good with that. Maybe we should do one slightly different this time. Yeah. So let's measure this, kind of, my method of measuring here. We're gonna fold it, basically the edge, and then probably should have folded this so I can see where it's actually needs to go to. So I squish that down to about right. Can't see without getting my head in the... Okay, just line that up as best I can. Give it a fold. That's a little off. That's okay. This does not need to be perfect. Okay. I just love this with the black and plum together. So pretty. Okay. And then may not actually, I may end up tearing part of this part off, but part of this off. Can't speak today. Let's fold this one up, kind of get our height. Okay. I'll just take that down there. Okay. Pretty good. And then our focal point is right about here. So we want to tear down. I'm going to kind of put a little dot there. Just, it's just metal, but it makes a mark I can see. So and we could definitely, you know, go bigger and then kind of come back up around to this side. See if we got as much as we want. I think that's pretty good. And now the fun part. Oops, let me set these aside so that I don't get stuff all over them. And I was using Villainous Potion, which I think is going to be okay on this one. I think it'll be fine. It'll be a little bit more of a contrast than it was on this one, but I think it's going to be just fine. Okay, let's put some water. And then the other thing I do is I'm using Turbo Tacky Glue, Aleene's, any white glue. And I'm going to put just a little bit in there. Doesn't have to be a lot. Okay, my paintbrush. You just wash your brush right away after you put it in glue. I always have a glass of paint water, you know, by my desk, so they go straight in there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go on this back side a bit, around this tear. What the glue is going to do is kind of give, once it dries, it's going to give a bit more strength to our torn and raggedy edges here. and I did not use presentation paper or photo paper to print this, so there's going to be some bleeding of the ink, and I think that just lends to the look of it being, you know, aged and torn, and maybe there's water damage. Maybe that's why it's, you know, doing that. Once again, I'm using Fabrifix for this part because I don't want to warp anything more than I need to. And it will stick wet things down. It does not, water doesn't affect it not drying. The acetone will still evaporate. Okay, I'm going to come up a little bit here to that wet zone. And now I'm going to put it on here. Try to line up the bottom first and this side. So once we get that, you know, the paper wet, it stretches a bit. So I like to kind of try to get it in position. Okay. And now, because our paper is wet, we can tear it a bit and curl it and make it do more interesting things. And I kind of use this a little bit too to kind of roll it back. You could use wet glue for this part too, but I just prefer Fabrifix myself. Whoopsie, look at that. Oh, now we tore it even more. And this is just 24-pound copy paper. Come in a little bit with our finger. Just kind of rub it and roll it down. It's definitely fun to play. You can even give it more tears. And the other thing would be tweezers. Come in with a little bit more wet glue and ink in there. Pieces fall off. We don't need those. Okay. It doesn't take a lot to get an effect here. And with mine last night, I just kind of let them dry on their own. Let's get a little bit more of this on there. A little bit here too. There we go. I like that. And go under it just a bit to get the other side wet and help it to stay down a little bit. I also like having some cheap paintbrushes for doing this. Working with glue or Mod Podge or things that could ruin your fine art brushes, you know, it's nice to have. I think these were oh, I can't remember if they were Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree or where I got them, but they were not very much money. Might have been by Mart. Really just kind of encouraging the paper to live where you want it to, or kind of guiding it. It's still going to have a little bit of a mind of its own, but I really like the oxide effect and how unpredictable that can be on here too. Okay. Now I'm just going to press it just a little bit. I don't want it to pull back up too much because I don't want it, you know, too three-dimensional. It's going to be flat in a journal, but a little bit is fine. And I think that's really cute. Paintbrush went into the water. And if I had, you know, a good mass making, you know, assembly line thing going on, you could have your ink and your glue here and do a whole bunch at once. And that would be a lot more efficient. But I'm unfortunately short on time, so I'm not doing a whole bunch right now. Doing them one at a time as I get a few moments. So anyway, that is our cute little torn wallpaper altered tags. Let's just see how this is going to look. This is getting a bit dry. Not the best gilding wax ever. I think I got it at Michael's for like $6. So there are a lot better ones out there. When it was fresh, it was better, but now it's kind of dry and crumbly. And it dries so fast on my finger even that. Yeah, that'll look cute. I like that gilded edge. You could also use, I've used acrylic paint to do this. And I recently picked up some, when Joann's was closing actually, so, I mean, it was in the last year. I picked up some hero paste. I might actually try that instead, because this is so dry. Oh, but that'll take a lot longer to dry, so. Okay. 1 second while I grab that hero paste. To make sure I grab the one I had already opened. So, by Hero Arts. Oh man, oh man, it's kind of dried out a little bit. I played with it when I first got it. I don't know if this is gonna work. I almost hate to put it on here just to. It's very sticky. Very sticky. It was more like, when I first opened it, it was almost more like marshmallow cream or marshmallow fluff, you know? I'm not sure if it's more like that now as it's more sticky, or if it's, I don't know. And I'm not sure if it's, I think it's water-based, because I think it's water cleanup. So I don't know if you could add water to it or not. It's a really strange texture. Yeah, I'm not really liking that effect from this. So if you're gonna use this, make sure it's fresh. When I used it before, I used it with a stencil, so it may just not work very well in this way either. But that was good try stuff, you know? Oh, I keep getting out baby wipes and throwing them away. Usually I use them until I need to throw them away. If I'm just wiping my fingers at my desk. Anyway, that is that for today. So we can check off another one on our list. I will finish this, decorating this in slow time. But I like the idea of this. My other thought for altered tag was, you know, put a window in it or a pocket in it, or turn it into an altered paper clip, but we already, you know, altered pockets, so I don't know. Anyway, so many options, so many fun things to do. But that's my little take on it there. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And we have one more video for Ephemerember. Oh my goodness. And then if we are fortunate, Barbara and Louisa will bring us to Ephemerember again next year. All right, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.